This is the story of Rosemary Newman and her unborn child, a cold, calculated hit orchestrated by the baby's own father, and the woman who couldn't stand to see him become one. It's your girl, Mrs. Tony, 2 times, and I'm back with another episode of Hood Tales. In this video, let's take it just outside of Chicago, Illinois, to discuss a tragic story of a couple's evil plot to get rid of the man's pregnant ex-girlfriend. But before we get into this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, this video is sponsored by me, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and my YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. Look out for the link to it in the comments. Stay tuned until the end to hear the full story. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. On Easter weekend of 2011, a man walking his dog through a Cook County forest preserve near Calumet City stumbled across something horrifying: the body of a young woman face down in the mud. Her name was Rosemary Newman. She was only 18 years old and was 9 months pregnant. She was just days away from giving birth to her baby girl, whom she had already named Nevaeh, heaven spelled backwards. In 2011, Rosemary Newman was a teenager from Alsip, Illinois, trying to build a better life. After a few rocky years, she had recently turned her life around, studying for her GED, planning to learn a trade, and getting ready to become a mother. Her family described her as hopeful, motivated, and excited to welcome her daughter into the world. She'd been focused on school, doctor's appointments, and helping her mother around the house. Her best friend and her family all said the same thing: Rosemary was ready to be a mom. The relationship with her child's father and ex-boyfriend wasn't always the best. For weeks, he hadn't called her and he denied her child was his. Confident, Rosemary planned to have a DNA test done once the baby was born. Despite his doubts, Rosemary was hopeful that things would turn around. So when her ex called and texted her to invite her to dinner, she accepted the invitation. Although her mother and brother urged her to stay at home, Rosemary showered, got dressed, and scribbled a message on a piece of paper that read, "He is already in my hands because he wants to get back with me." April 23, 2011, Rosemary left her mother's apartment around 10:30 p.m., taking her mom's phone in case of an emergency. She was picked up by her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old DeAndre Minkins. They went to an Applebee's in Crestwood for dinner. A few restaurant staff remembered seeing them. Rosemary looked happy. She even told someone she was excited about her baby. Rosemary called her mother from the restaurant to let her know she would be back soon. After dinner, Rosemary got back into the car with DeAndre, thinking she was going home. But what Rosemary didn't know was that hidden in the trunk of DeAndre's car was his longtime girlfriend, 19-year-old Shantae Thomas. As they drove, DeAndre turned up the volume on a song called "I Hate You" by Sick Puppies. Some of the lyrics in the song says, "I hate you when you're gone. I hate you when you turn me on. I hate the way I need you when I don't know where you are. I love it even more when I find you on the floor. I know you think you hate me, but I will always hate you more." DeAndre played the song over and over again. That was Shantae's cue. She emerged from the trunk through a backseat access panel and wrapped a cell phone charger cord around Rosemary's neck. but Rosemary fought back and the cord snapped. When the first attempt failed, Shantae and DeAndre started viciously putting their hands on Rosemary. Then they tried taking her out again, but failed to do so. Rosemary was fighting for her and her unborn daughter's life. When she wouldn't take her last breath, they kept going. Eventually, they drove to the Cook County Forest Preserve. There, DeAndre and Shantae finished what they had started. Then, the brazen couple removed some of Rosemary's clothes, possibly to make the hit appear as something else. After the heinous incident, DeAndre and Shantae left a lifeless, heavily pregnant Rosemary in a wooded area and supposedly went to a nightclub, probably in an effort to create an alibi. When Rosemary's mother stopped hearing from her daughter and she had not returned home, she had a feeling something had gone wrong. The next morning, Easter Sunday, Rosie, Rosemary's mother, called the police after receiving a suspicious call from DeAndre asking if Rosemary was home. She immediately knew something wasn't right. A few hours later, a man walking his dog came across a woman's lifeless body, face down in the mud near Freeland Avenue and Warren Street, just 15 miles from Rosemary's home. When police arrived at her home, Rosie reported her daughter missing. Within hours, the worst was confirmed. The body found near Freeland and Warren was indeed Rosemary Newman. An autopsy confirmed what detectives already feared. Rosemary and her unborn child, baby Nevaeh, were both gone. Authorities quickly connected DeAndre to the case. Of course, he denied it. He claimed he hadn't seen Rosemary in days, but cell phone records placed him near the body. Applebee's employees also contradicted his story, and surveillance footage showed him nowhere near the nightclub he claimed to be at. Detectives also discovered a key detail. Rosemary had once filed a police report against Shantae Thomas, claiming Shantae had threatened her. It was only a matter of time before the full story came out. Under pressure, Shantae eventually confessed, providing a chilling, detailed account of the crime. She confirmed the plan, the plot, and the horrifying aftermath. In 2016, both DeAndre and Shantae went to trial, each with separate juries. Prosecutors say DeAndre and Shantae had been planning the hit for weeks. Their motive? DeAndre didn't want to be a father, and Shantae couldn't bear the thought of another woman having his baby. Emotions ran high during the court proceedings for everyone involved. Ultimately, both DeAndre and Shantae were found guilty of first-degree hit and intentional homicide of an unborn child. The court found that Rosemary's slaying was premeditated, calculated, and heinous. DeAndre Minkins was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Shantae Thomas was also sentenced to life behind bars. Shantae later appealed, arguing that her life sentence was excessive given that she was 19 at the time of the crime. But the court denied her appeal, citing the horrendous nature of the crime and her active participation in planning and executing the hit. DeAndre also appealed his conviction, and just like in Shantae's case, his conviction was upheld. Justice, at least in the legal sense, had been served. May Rosemary and Nevaeh continue to rest in peace. My belated condolences to their families. Rosemary Newman never got a chance to meet her daughter, and a family was left mourning the loss of two lives that had barely begun. What makes this story so haunting is the betrayal. Rosemary trusted DeAndre enough to meet with him despite all the red flags. She truly believed there might be a chance to co-parent or at least reconcile. But instead of responsibility, he chose to be a coward. Instead of facing the consequences of his choices, he plotted an evil deed with a willing accomplice who let her jealousy and rage consume her. Shantae reportedly was a good girl and was the perfect daughter prior to her taking a life. She was head over heels for DeAndre. She was willing to do anything to keep her man, even if that meant throwing her life away. I'm sure she regrets her actions and would probably just have been done with the relationship. But who knows? Some people are blinded by what they think is love. This case is a devastating reminder of how dangerous it can be to trust someone who has no empathy or love for you. No one should have to fear for their life because of a relationship. Please consider sharing this video so others understand the very real dangers that can come from ignoring red flags. Fam, let's continue the conversation. What are your thoughts on this tragic story? What kind of love makes people go this far? And how do two people align their thoughts to commit such an evil act? Let me know in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, consider liking and sharing. Subscribe for more stories like this and for the stories behind the headlines. Because behind them all, our lives forever changed. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times. Until next time.